Let's talk about all of the mass shootings that never happened. Let's get started. Welcome to the Armed Citizen channel. My name is Mark, and I do this video mentorship for all armed citizens, be they new or experienced. I talk about the things that I think no one else talks about. So please, like my videos, subscribe, and share them with people of all political persuasions. Let's get into the content. It is nigh on impossible to prove a negative. You can't prove something that didn't happen, but it could have. Think of it this way. Take a friend outside on a clear and sunny day exactly at noon. You're standing out in a field away from any building, tree, or other fixture. At exactly 12:01 p.m., prove to your friend that the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. You have 60 seconds to make your case. You can't do it, can you? You need more time to show the progression of the sun. Same thing with mass shootings. Now, the definition of mass shooting depends upon who you ask. If you ask the Federal Department of Justice, they define it as 4 or more people forcefully expired during a single event. If you ask the legacy media, they define it as 4 or more wounded, which leads to more raw incident numbers, as their standard is lower. Do any of you remember this? July 19th, 2022, shooter and 17 expired, 22 more wounded in Indiana mall rampage. Well, despite the fact that you're seeing it with a CNN headline, it didn't happen, but it could have. This was about the Greenwood Park Mall shooting, which really resulted in 3 people expired and 2 more wounded. Here's the actual headline. I used to write HTML for web pages in Notepad back in the 90s, so it was no big deal for me to download the HTML for that web page and modify it to change the information there. Please don't panic. This false headline was never on the internet except in this video. It is not information nor disinformation. It is a look at what might have been. Now, the Greenwood Park Mall shooting. That was a media mass shooting event and not a Department of Justice mass shooting. If it hadn't been for Elisjsha Dicken, who dropped the shooter at 40 yards in about 10 seconds after the dirtbag opened fire, that bogus headline could very well have been the actual headline, or worse. I really hate interrupting myself mid-tirade, but I just wanted to put in a real quick reminder to please like this video, subscribe to this channel, and share it with all of your friends. That's how I grow this channel and get to more people. So, all right, back to myself. This got the attention that it did because the mall had an unenforceable no firearms allowed policy, which thankfully Mr. Dicken rightfully ignored. And there lies the rub. We have so many incidents where we have a dirtbag who opens fire on a crowd only to be stopped by a good guy with a gun, be they an armed citizen, an armed security guard, sometimes even the police themselves. Someone who is in the right place at the right time, who is armed and trained and able to stop the shooter in seconds instead of waiting minutes or hours for police to show up to stop the threat. Because they were stopped before a lot happened, we will never know just how bad each of those incidents would have been had the good guy or gal with the gun not been in the right place at the right time. And it goes the other way as well. There are plenty of examples of mass shootings where we can easily, what if an armed citizen had been there to stop the attack before it had gotten started or prevented entirely. The Nashville school shooting back in 2023 is a prime example of this, and it teaches two lessons. The first is the shooting occurred at the dirtbag's backup target. Why? Because the primary target had visibly armed security. So she went to the secondary target, shot her way through a side door, causing the school to go into lockdown, but still caught and ended 3 adults and 3 children in the hallways before the police got there and put her down like a vicious dog. Now, let's suppose that there was armed staff on site at the second school. If they had been visible as they were at the primary target, would she have gone to a tertiary target or not carried out the attack at all, at least that day? If the armed staff were clandestine, in other words, concealed carry, she probably would have been engaged within seconds of getting through the door. Would the shooter have ended 6 people then? Possible, however, very unlikely. There are some parallels between a competent IT department and armed citizens. The IT department at a company, when it's good and well led, identifies and eliminates problems before they become problems. So it looks like the IT department does nothing of any substance. However, they work constantly, after hours or on the weekends, outside of the notice of the regular workers and C-suiters, to make sure that there's no interruptions of service. But when the IT department gets downsized or eliminated because it appears to be useless, that's when the network collapses, all the printers stop working, and every computer shuts off and won't turn on again. In my next video, we're going to talk about just how many things don't happen because armed citizens are out there. Y'all have yourselves a wonderful day. If you made it this far into the video, thank you. Just one last request that you like and subscribe and share with your friends, and send me some feedback on the way so I know where to go and what I might have messed up. Y'all have yourselves a wonderful day.